Wow. I don't know what your favorite song is, but I was going to try and find music for us to bump in.
Got to think about that, but I don't know.
I don't know. Spanish music, please.
Spanish music.
This
Yes.
is Tristan and Jackie Cross, missionaries to Spain. And Spain is quite a country. Mm-hmm. It's very old, isn't it?
Yes.
I guess they're all old, but the culture's old.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The buildings are old.
Mm-hmm.
So describe Spain in about a sentence or two.
Man, I mean, there is a lot of culture, a lot of architecture, a lot of religious history, all the way back from like Christopher Columbus and the Inquisition the Crusades, and yeah, that was a long time ago, but it's still, you feel some of that even today. But a lot of busy cities, very warm people.
The food is good.
The food is good. There's a lot of seafood because we've got a lot of water around us, a lot of coast. Oh. But yeah, and people stay out really late. Oh. I mean, dinner's not till like 10 o'clock at night. In the summer, you've got people out on the streets until 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
And I heard they go out, and it's not uncommon to see all generations out together.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or often they'll live together too, multi-generational
living. That's
living.
nice.
Mm-hmm. But they're very family-focused, social. People don't hang out in their homes alone. They go out and spend time with their family and with their friends and just out in the street.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like college.
It's kind of like that.
It is kind of like that, yeah.
Very vibrant.
Well, that's cool. So Christopher Columbus, what do they think of him?
I don't know.
They know who he is, right?
They know who he is.
There's a holiday that celebrates him.
Okay.
And, conquering the new world.
I don't know that people really think much about him anymore.
He wasn't Spanish, so it was just their king and queen who funded the...
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind. So you're missionaries to Spain. What made you do this?
Well...
I mean, God's the easy answer, but
yeah.
How did that look?
Let's see. Where do we even start? Try to make it short.
Mm-hmm.
When we were sort of early on married, we went on a short-term trip to Haiti, actually. And while we were there, we both separately felt like God was telling us, I want you to do this kind of ministry long-term.
Oh, good.
And then when we talked about it, the fact that we had each heard separately made it feel much more significant.
Much more real.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
So you were dating or engaged?
We were married.
We were married.
Oh, you were married.
We were already married.
So, yeah.
And
that's cool.
we kind of that sounds cool, but put it on a shelf.
Yeah, we didn't really know what to do with it. Like, okay, missions, but
right.
And we knew it wasn't
someday.
to Haiti. It was like somewhere.
Okay.
So fast forward a couple of years, I was assuming South America because I got my bachelor's degree in Spanish as a fluke because I didn't get into nursing school and I needed to graduate with something. So I have a bachelor's degree in Spanish from Oregon State.
Nice.
And the Lord just kind of woke us up and said, it's not that you're going to be missionaries. You are missionaries, and I need you to start asking me where I want you to go. So we prayed and fasted for 21 days, just asking, where do you want us to go, and can we have a short-term trip to make connections? Because we have no idea how to do this.
Yeah.
So within just a matter of days, I had multiple dreams. We had people come up with prophetic words, suddenly reading about Paul, talking about Spain in the Bible.
Oh, really?
But Spain was not on our radar. It was completely out of the blue, but it was just Spain.
Wow.
And then just within a few days, we found out that our young adult pastor, also out of the blue, was sitting in his office and thought, where should we go? Like, we could go back to Haiti. He's like, or we could go to Spain. So we found out that he had just confirmed a short-term trip to Madrid that summer. And so it was like, wow, this feels like a lot of confirmation.
Yeah.
So you develop a heart
Yes.
for that culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how does that feel?
I think it was quite immense at the beginning. Well, still, but we bought a map and we just would lay it on the floor. And I just remember kneeling on the floor and just sobbing and praying because as we started to look at the statistics, we realized wow, this is not what we thought Spain was.
Yeah.
And they really, really are in dire need of the gospel.
Yeah.
And it's just suddenly a love for people that we haven't met yet and we
Right.
don't know, and a nation that...
So isn't that interesting that, Spain is in the Bible.
Right.
I mean, it's part of the early world where Christianity really took hold, and it was a Catholic situation, but now it's an unreached group.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened?
I mean, I think it's generations and generations and all sorts of religious nonsense that's happened as well. But people have, the secularism and postmodernism has just kind of driven all of European society away from any desire for Christianity. And now it's to the point where it's not even post-Christian. It's very
Secular?
nothing, very
Yeah.
secular, but secular in the sense where people are just like, I'm doing my thing. Like, I'm the one who's on the throne of my life.
Gotcha. Well,
And
not a lot different than here.
yeah. And so the church is really, like, there are a lot of, all over Europe, the cathedrals are everywhere, and they're beautiful, and the architecture is amazing, and the art, it shows history, but the people who visit them are all tourists. Like, nobody even goes to mass, nobody goes to church.
Really?
It's this thing
There's
of
a
the
small
past.
percentage of
Mass going.
practicing Catholics. I think the
Okay.
percentage is 3% practicing Catholics.
Right.
And we'll still run into people who will say, well, I'm Spanish, so I'm Catholic. But then when you dig a little deeper, that they don't believe what the church says,
Right.
they don't go to mass, they don't want to baptize their kids.
Right.
It's just a,
They do that with United States. Or they say, "Oh, you're from America. You're a Christian."
right.
So
right.
it's this association
right.
by your history.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the holidays and the traditions are still wrapped up in Catholicism. Like instead of Christmas, they celebrate Three Kings Day because the wise men came to Jesus, and so the wise men or the three kings bring the kids presents. They write letters to the
Right.
three kings, but it's all like as if like how we treat Santa Claus. It's just this like magical thing that's like, whoa,
It's real if you believe in it. But
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
that's why I tell my grandkids the difference between Santa Claus and God is that if you believe in Santa Claus, he kind of becomes real. But if you believe in God, he's real whether you believe in him or
right,
not.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So Tristan, you have a house church, or what kind of approach are you taking?
So yeah, we were launched out just a couple years ago we were with a team in Granada in the southeast who is focusing on like, okay, how do we reach Spaniards? How do we do church that's going to be relevant to them? So we were there for a couple of years working with them, and then they launched us out into Sevilla or Seville, just to start from scratch. And we felt really good about it and took some trips, walked the city, prayed about it, and felt like the Lord gave us a neighborhood to start in.
Oh, good.
But really, it's like we don't know anybody. So we began by doing a little advertising, building relationships, and getting some unattached Christians to come into our home.
Good.
And yeah, so for about a year,
Developing the team.
yeah, just like building a community so that we had a place to invite people into. Because we
Right.
know there's plenty of people who know nothing about Jesus.
Right.
But to invite them just into our family feels a little weird.
Sure.
So just to have a few other people to say, we're not just those weird Americans, this is what we believe. It's actually a community of people. And the common denominator is Jesus. And so, yeah.
That's cool. I think that's very practical because I know that when we have people over for our house to talk, it's good to have another couple, not just one.
Right.
Because everything's just one across.
Right,
'Cause
right.
some guys don't talk, or some ladies don't. But if you have a couple of people, you can
Right.
get conversations going a couple of different ways.
And I think the beauty of a healthy church is the community.
Right.
And so we want people, if they're coming for the first time, to be like, it is a community. And there is social risk in following Jesus in Spain. And so
What social risk? What does that mean?
like we've had people who they're like, I can't tell my grandma that I'm going to a Protestant church.
Sure.
She'll be really upset. Or
Because even if they're not practicing Catholics, there's still that like,
They're leaving the
I'm leaving the true faith or the,
Right.
this has been generational.
the
Right.
one church, they
yeah.
say. And we haven't had anyone be like, that we know, be like blatantly rejected by their family and disowned or excommunicated or anything. But there is like, I think you're part of a cult. Like, why are you
Sure.
going there so much? And so there's just, and especially when people are sort of feeling it out, it's like, we leave the curtains closed, like so people have a little bit of privacy because
Sure.
it is so unusual that people feel like a social pressure, like they're being weird or unusual.
And so with that, because we want people to count the cost of what following Jesus looks like and to say, I'm all in, we realize they're probably leaving behind family, definitely leaving behind community. And so they need a community to belong to, not
Sure.
just a friendship, but like an actual
Somebody who's there
family.
for them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow. I never thought of that, but that develops over time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know that I had friends in high school that were new to the faith, and they'd start coming to youth group. And then if they did something wrong at home, their parents would ground them from going to youth group.
Yeah.
You can't go to youth group anymore. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
That's so strange. Like, that's where we're supposed to go if we're in.
Right. That's where you need to keep going.
Your son should go there.
Yeah.
But it's weird because that social pressure is there, and it's a thing. I think it's a thing everywhere, but to certain degrees in different ways.
Right.
I think in the cowboy culture that I was at in Montana in our first church plant, it was more acceptable for a young ranch hand or farmer or person to go on a 3-day bender and get drunk for 3 days
Right.
than it was for him to go to church.
Right.
If he would go to church, it's like, what is wrong with him?
Right.
But it's party time. That's normal.
Yeah.
And so the social pressure thing is something we have to overcome, isn't
Right.
it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a thing. So tell me about your house church now. What's it like?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's moving along very slowly. Everything in
Well,
Spain
and
takes a
just
while.
a
But
few months ago, we got a location. So we've moved
Oh, really?
to a location, partially for a church, but partially just to have an anchor in the community, like a location. So during the week, we use it as a ministry center. We call it a cultural center.
Oh,
so
good.
we have all kinds of different activities. Some are completely non-spiritual, but we always say at the beginning, like, we're a Christian association, but all perspectives are welcome, so people don't feel like we're
Nice.
tricking them.
Right.
But then we have exploratory Bible study. We have
Oh, good.
story time for
ret-
kids
yeah.
and spiritual retreats and like a whole gamut of
So it's like
of activities.
you call it a cultural center
yeah
or
so-
community center. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's the idea, and
Yeah.
where people can come and make friendships, and we like to say we want to think about the deeper things in life and talk about them, because people don't really like to talk about deep things, because
Yeah.
then you start to be like, oh, I feel a little unsettled, and maybe what I'm building my life on is not stable. So we try to, even in the most non-faith-based activities, let's talk about friendship. What does it mean to be a good friend? How are you a good friend? And it kind of helps us,
That's the gospel.
disrupt the foundation that they're building their life on, so that
Yeah.
we can have spiritual conversations and
So
show them
cool.
that Jesus is the only foundation
Right.
that will
Nice.
actually be firm.
So then on Sunday we meet in that space, and it's been really good.
Yeah.
It makes it a little more formal than sitting in our.
Is it a
living
small
room.
space? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
How did you find it? Would you just look?
Yeah, we were looking in the same neighborhood. We had a price range. We were just
Right.
But honestly, it looked terrible online.
It did. It
We
looked
did
so
not
bad.
want to go look at it, but there was nothing else, and so we're like, let's just walk by this place. And come to find out, it's an amazing location, and it looked really good. They're just really bad at taking photos, and so honestly, it helped us out because no one else wanted it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But the Lord definitely led us there. The owners we were a little nervous, like, are they going to be weirded out that
Right.
we're the ones renting it? But they were just like,
Very
no, it sounds
excited.
great, wonderful, and it was kind of like an older woman and her son who owned it together, and she just wanted to talk to me about decorating it. So I was like, great, let's
nice.
talk about that. But it's beautiful because it's right around there. There's a main transportation hub for the city. So there's
good.
like the above ground tram, there's the metro, there's the train, and there's a bus like hub right there. And then right next to that is a huge part of the university campus.
Oh, wow.
So it's just perfectly placed for the things that we're hoping to do. And it's quite residential area as well. So
So we're able to like reach out to families who are living in the neighborhood, but also we have student ministry, and
Sure.
it's easy to get to. So it's just the
That's
Lord
cool.
really has given us a great
There's
place.
something important about locations where they become a place. And we
Yeah.
call it a sanctuary where somebody can come in and be safe. And,
Right.
it's like a place of that's dedicated.
right.
for the purposes of the gospel. That's really cool.
Right.
What do you call it?
The cultural center is called Raíces, which means roots. And then the church is just called Sevilla Comunidad Cristiana, which is like Sevilla Christian Community.
Good.
Yeah.
Roots.
Keep it simple.
Roots, yeah.
I like
like
it.
a
Yeah.
tree image. And
So is it busy? How many times a week? Is it things going on there? You get activities?
Yeah, so we have three or four activities that are like every week.
Every week.
Just easy, like English club. People can come and practice their English, just felt
nice.
needs of the community.
Good.
And then
Do you have open mic night?
one event we do
We have
usually, or we have done in the past, and we're hoping to do once a semester, is like talent night.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And it's
College
fun.
kids would like
It's
that.
fun to
Yeah,
let
yeah.
people kind of, I don't know. In Spain, it's like you have to give up hobbies like that. Unless you're going to be professional, they just stop. So there's not a lot of opportunities for people just to be like, I kind of dink around on the guitar.
Oh,
you know?
really? Yeah.
So it's really fun to say like, no, like read your poetry or sing your song or play your guitar. And people, it's just Jesus being like encouraging the
Yeah.
gifts that God has given
Yeah.
people and applauding them for their work and things. So that's one event. But we do just random events for university students, like, I don't know, karaoke night or trivia night, and just let them come in. Like I said earlier,
Is it
just
all
let
in
them.
Spanish or?
Most of the events
them.
are in Spanish. The English club is in English. We do the intro in Spanish and then switch to English. But it's just an opportunity for people to meet Christians and be like, you're not weirdos, and like, I like what you're doing, and then we can develop the relationships with those people as they come in. So
I have run into people that ran into Christians who were weirdos, and it kind of puts up a
Yeah.
wall.
yeah, totally.
yeah,
So we're trying not to be that person.
hopefully. I don't know.
I think people think we're weird. It's like our goal is to be like a good weird.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Positive dissonance is what we call it.
Yeah.
You're like,
I want it
you're
to be
weird,
like,
but I like
it stands out. Yeah. You're like, something's different about you,
Yeah.
but it's not off-putting.
Yes. It's not like Portland weird.
It's a
Yeah.
hard, it's a hard
Sevilla
line.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, I think a peculiar people is what we're described as in the Bible. So
Yeah.
I don't think you're off base at all. But I do think that it's peculiar, but that word inspires interest.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm peculiar. You're peculiar. It's like, I want to know about you, or I want to know what's
Right.
going on.
We like, it's somebody's quote, maybe Leslie Newbigin, but he said, live your life in a way that provokes questions, or what I
And
messed.
questions for which the gospel is the
There it is.
only answer.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Live your life in a way that provokes questions
that's
versus the
that's a
gospel
good
is the only answer.
challenge. So you have children,
Yes, we have 4
We
kids.
do.
4 of them.
We do.
How do you do that?
With the grace of God. That's
We're in an
honestly
apartment.
a really good
Yeah.
opportunity to share testimony, because Jesus helps us a lot. But yeah, we live in an apartment. They're a little older now, so it feels easier than when they were toddlers.
How are they doing being Spanish?
They're doing
Culture.
well. I mean, there's ups and downs. There's
Yeah.
struggles that they're people. Children are resilient, but they still
They're still human.
deal with stress and culture shock and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they've adapted really well and
That's good.
made good friends. And our boys were all in the same school this last year, because it's like
Elementary.
elementary all the way through 6th grade. And like the hardest thing has been that they are the only Christians in their entire school.
That's tough.
And so we've been really praying and asking the Lord, like, how do we find community for our kids? So honestly, being here for these past weeks is great, because you're hanging out with people your
Yeah.
age, your cousins, their friends. You're getting to see there are other people like you who
Yeah.
believe in Jesus, who live like this. You're not a weirdo. You're not alone.
Yeah.
But the Lord has given us just a few people, like, for them also in the city. And we've gotten them into a youth group in another church where they can be around
That's good.
other Christians.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
We take it for granted, don't we, over here? There are just youth groups everywhere. I got kids in our youth group, go to a couple of youth groups. It's like,
They youth group around.
Even
not that
for
adults would ever do that.
even for us, we're blessed with a great family, and
Yes, you
Tristan's family is extensive and follow Jesus. So I'm just astounded. Like, you have so many options for friends, or like within their community
Sure.
that are Christians. It's
Cousins,
like, I
yeah.
have like one friend that's Christian in Sevilla, and we're asking for more of that. But I think it's beautiful to be here and see the community that's here, and how important that is to have friendship, Christian
for
friendship.
sure. Well, we're hoping and planning for some kind of a excursion to Spain to see you in 2025, or somewhere as soon as we can. But in the meantime, how can we pray for you the most?
All right. Well,
Because there's people watching this podcast that are going to be prayers and
Yeah,
prayer
absolutely.
warriors.
We
and-
need that. Absolutely. I think the friendship piece is one that it takes time, but we need friends that know the
Sure.
Lord.
Yep.
And our kids also they have a couple, but like our older kids have a couple of people they know that are Christians, but our younger kids, they don't have any friends that know the Lord at all.
Wow.
And so, it's just even have one family that we
Sure.
connect with that know the Lord.
We'll pray for that.
And I don't know.
and then I think coming up into the fall, as far as like practical ministry stuff, we're getting like the whole schedule in Spain is very heavy on the school year.
Sure.
Everybody vacations hard. Summer is like the turn off switch for everything. And so coming out of August, and you have like university starting back up
Yeah.
and families are getting back into their rhythms.
Gets real busy.
We're really excited to be able to offer more activities and to like really build community and relationships. And so
Good.
just for the people that we're going to meet, and just for this favor with people in our community, and just to see the Lord really do some good things.
And I think this might sound weird, but like courage for people that have maybe walked by and they're interested, or the Lord is drawing them. But
It does take courage.
it takes
Yeah.
courage. And sometimes, a lot of times, one person won't come alone. Like they'll have to bring a friend, so that if the Lord is drawing someone, that a friend would be willing to go with them, or
Sure.
that they'll just have the courage to come through the doors. And that once they walk in, of course, we're always praying that they feel the presence of the Lord, and they're like, which we've already have that response. People walk in and they're like, whoa, man, this just feels so good in here,
Yeah.
And I
it's-
want to come
It's
back.
IKEA
Yeah.
fitfurniture. It's not like super
Yeah.
fancy, but
there's a
it's just
presence about the Lord resting there.
exactly. So
That's what we'll pray for.
thanks.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's pretty cool. And we'll pray for the Sevilla Christian Cultural Center.
Sevilla, yeah.
What is it?
Sevilla Christian Community
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sevilla.
is the church.
Yeah. It looks like Seville
Yeah.
to those of us who drove Cadillac Sevilles.
Well, in English it's Seville, and in Spanish it's Sevilla, but it's weird because they're so close. But-
Yeah.
And you probably need funds. I mean, you probably have to buy pizza for college kids.
You do have to buy.
Yeah, we
Pizza for
do.
college kids.
And
Yeah.
now that we've taken on a ministry center, we have that
Oh, I'm
expense,
sure.
So
Yeah. There'll be people watching that will be not just praying for that, but it'd be also that the Lord would stir them to
yeah.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that.
pick up the
That's-
pace on
yeah.
your. Well, you know what? We're always challenged by missionaries who want to come and build their support team, but we want to make a commitment to going a foot deep instead of a half-inch deep, a mile
Right,
wide. We
sure.
want to have focus on the ones we have, and since you're so connected to Shiloh and you guys are part of the family, but we really, in our prayers and in our giving, we want to really.
We
see
really
what difference
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
we
we
make.
we do appreciate that, and we feel that like
Good.
every time we're back here, we're just like, oh, this is our family, this is our home. We love you guys.
Well, and you guys shared today in the service about encountering Jesus with one of your friends, that really inspired the rest of us to really be aware and awake. One of our guiding values is be spiritually awake.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's snap out of it.
Absolutely.
And so as we close, and we know how we're going to pray for you, but I'd like you to pray for us.
Okay.
Maybe you could do that,
Sure.
and then we'll receive that and
Absolutely.
ask the Lord to help us with
Okay.
this whole.
All right. Dear Jesus, we're just so thankful for who you are, and for the transformation that you have done in our own lives, that we know you, that we love you, that you've helped us, that we have stories to tell about the way that you've helped us. So we just pray over the community at Shiloh Ranch to have that just spiritual alertness, the
Yes.
ability to see. I just pray that you would open eyes and ears to hear your voice and to see the people that you're placing in front of the different members of Shiloh Ranch. And Lord, I just pray that you would give them a new level of or even insight into giving the credit where credit is due. So often we can just kind of shrug off the things that you've done without giving you credit. But I just pray that you would help all of us to be bold enough to give you the credit for the things that you've done in our lives. And as we give you credit, we'll see people respond to that because that's what they're looking for. You
That's right.
have the best news that we're not wheeling and dealing something that's shoddy. This is the best news. And so I just
Yes.
pray that would go deep in all of our hearts, that we would be convinced that you are the answer. So we just pray for our family here at Shiloh Ranch, that there would be just a deep urgency to share the stories about the things that you've done in their lives and to just impact their community for you, Lord.
Yeah, we thank you, Lord, for Tristan and Jackie and their kids. Would you bless them with community, all of them? That we just ask that you would just do miraculous things to arrange it so they have friends in this place of work. We bless you and we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Tristan
It was fun.
and Jackie Cross have been with us as part of Shiloh Ranch Church missions team.
Yep.
We're so happy that you spent time with us.
Yeah, thank you. It's been
Thanks.
fun.
Okay.